In this video, we're going to be installing a Binize car stereo in this 2012 Toyota Prius with like 300,000 plus miles on it. So if you're getting bored of your car stereo, let me show you what I got going on for Binize or Binize, however it is pronounced. So I just unboxed the radio. It came in this pretty small box. And the reason why it's that small is because you no longer have a bulky car stereo. As technology moves on and progresses, we can see that we have this slim new radio that it will be replacing the factory radio on this car. And don't get intimidated by all the wiring that you're seeing on here. We have a microphone. We also have a GPS antenna. It included a actual trim removal piece or tool. I'll be using mine, I won't be using this. And it also included a screwdriver. I think that's very nice for them to include that. We also have a backup camera for the back, just in case your vehicle does not have one, you could use this. And this vehicle, we're gonna be using the factory one that's already installed. And we also have the camera harness. And then we have your normal harness that will plug into the back of the radio. And then we also have more harnesses. Now, they did include USB ports, and what this is in case that you're still listening to maybe MP3s into USB flash drives, you could plug them in here and listen to music right off of that. Now, if you're also looking to get familiarized with all these harnesses, it does include the back of the device, break out exactly what each wire will connect to. It also includes a user manual. Now, in case that you do need a little bit of guidance as to what each of those wires do, there's plenty of instructions here. It also includes overall features of the unit itself, like navigation, desktop, themes, music, video, Bluetooth, equalizer, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and grab this camera, install it inside the car, and let's get to replace this factory radio. Now, as you can see, this car almost has 300,000 miles, and it's a 2012, so it's up in age already, and it definitely hasn't been sitting in a garage or anything. It definitely gets driven. So why am I saying this? Is because this thing has had sun. While this is all plastic and it's very high quality plastic, it's also had its age on there, it's had its years on there, and you may want to be careful to use the tool that they provided to remove these trim pieces off. I will be using my trim tool to remove these pieces off because I feel more comfortable with it. I like to take care of my things, and I like to take care of when I'm working on somebody else's car. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, move here, and then see where that takes me. But you make your choice whether you want to use that tool that they provided or you want to use your own tool. Let's get started. Okay, so now that I've removed my trim pieces, it just looked like it was this side. I started from the bottom and then I worked my way down the side over here, the inner part of it, pulled it out, and then just worked my way to take that whole vent assembly off. As you can see, I had to remove this upper passenger glove box off because it was clipped in right here. So move that out. Now we just got to get to those 10mm bolts. There's 4 and one here, 3 and 4. All right, so now that we actually remove all 4 of our bolts, we're gonna pull it right out. Might be a little hard at first, you just gotta give it a little bit of more pulling force. All right, so this is what it looks like back here. You got all these connectors, you're gonna plug them all and pull this unit completely out. All right, so to unplug some of these connectors, especially the little ones, the small ones, they could be a little stubborn, so I'm using a little flathead screwdriver, and I am using that to clip in if you could see it right here, clip in that clip so that it's easier to pull out. There we go, just like that. And now we have our unit out. And now with this unit has a Harman extension box, and this extension box plugs into the car stereo itself. So you don't, just make sure that when you pull it out, you pull this out as well. If not, you'll just end up with this in your hand over here. But We don't have to worry about that because we're not going to use any of this. So in case you end up pulling that out, it's just toss it away or put it aside. Now this is what it looks like after you pulled your car stereo off. So you end up with 5 connectors on this harness right here, and this little one was the one I was struggling with. And again, I just used a little screwdriver and then pushed that tab in and pulled it out. And then there's this one right over here. So let's go ahead and start wiring up the new car stereo on here. All right, so here's the harness. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, this may intimidate you because it has a lot of connectors. But I think the reason why that is you're not going to use every single one of them. I think the reason why that is because this is a universal harness that works on most Toyotas. Just like if you're working on a Chevrolet or a Ford or a Dodge, it may give you a universal harness for that manufacturer. So just got to make sure that these are all female connectors. These are all male connectors. So we're going to start by hooking up one by one. So what you do is, for example, this one, we're going to start with this one right here. And you just look to see where that may fit. So let's try this one right here. Nope. This is too big. This is too big. This one I think is too big too. Let's try this one. And looks like that's the one. All right, so that's one down. And then this one looks pretty close to this one. So and this one's pretty close to this one. So let's try that. There it goes. There's a second one. Move on to this one. All right, so I got them all connected. The only one that I can't find where to connect is this one. So I went back to my illustrations and I found this wire that came with the car stereo, and it looks like this is our CAN bus wire. And CAN bus is whether you have a car that has an option for CAN bus or not. That's why they include it separately, not with this harness. So I am going to connect this end of it in our new car stereo, and then the other one in here. So I'm going to start by doing it in here first. And let's see, so at the end of the female connector, you can see there's a little opening right here, little gap, and that's where our connector is going to clip in, this one right here. So insert the male side into the female and just push until you hear that click. There it is, and that's good and secure. All right, and I think we're ready to install our unit. All right, so I have 4 harnesses that I'm going to use. These both are USB for USB-A flash drives. This is the main one, and then this one's for the camera. So let's go ahead and start with this one. All right, so we're going to install our new car stereo. We're going to take this connector, push it in there until you hear that click. Let's install our CAN bus wire, and this only has one place to go, which is right here. 4-pin female connector. Push that male connector in. There you go, nice and tight. This is your antenna. Now, coming to realize that these both are USB-A's, and they give you 2, but in reality they're different because one is they both utilize 4 wires, but their connectors are different. As you can see, 4 wires here. As you can see, 4 wires there. Now, the reason I want to use this one and not this one is because I've already utilized my female connector that has 4 wires going into there for my CAN bus. So then I'm going to use this one instead, and I'm going to place it right in here. There you go. And then now this could get routed wherever I want it to, but I want to place it in my upper glove box, if not in the glove box below. And then for now, I think we're done here. Now let's just take the connector that comes out of this harness and plug it in here until you hear that click once again. Now all we got left is our GPS antenna and our microphone, which goes right in here. But for now, let's just go ahead and start this up and test it out. All right, and we have power. So you can see it took a little bit of while to start up. We're right about at the 10-second mark right now. And that probably took about almost 15 seconds to boot up. Okay, let's test it out and let's see if we have music. Okay, as you can see, we have music playing. Main thing, backup camera. Let's go ahead and throw it in park because I think the car needs to be in park and actually powered on. So we have our backup screen, but we don't have a backup camera. Let's check it out and see what we got going on. All right, now, in order to get our backup camera working, we gotta use this harness that plugs into the back of our car stereo. But first, we gotta find, as you can see, this is a female end, and then we gotta find the male end. And you can see there's a lot of them here, but none of these are male ends. We're looking for, again, a male end. And here's one, but this is not connected to anything. So the only other one that I see is this one, which is connected to this harness. And then we're gonna push that in, connect it, and connect this other end right here. Make sure you hear that click. There we go. And now we should have backup camera. Let's give this a try. Okay, there we go. The backup camera is working. Okay, so now that we have our camera working, the only other thing we have to worry about is our steering wheel controls. This little box right here does just that. This little connector is a 2-wire connector, and this will go right in back of our new stereo. Okay, I didn't hear it, so let me push it back out again. There you go. And that should get us working. The only other thing I have to install is my microphone and my GPS antenna. All right, so for both my microphone and my GPS antenna, I'm gonna make this fairly simple. All I'm gonna do is place my microphone right in here. I'm gonna place it right over here. And then the way I'm gonna do that is I'm just gonna connect it to the back, route it right above my steering wheel. Of course, it's gonna go tucked behind these panels right here. And then I'm gonna take my GPS antenna and I'm gonna do the same, and I'm gonna route it and I'm gonna place it right in here. All right, so now that our installation is complete, let's go over and see what kind of features this thing has to offer. And you can see it powered up right away, so there's no delays there. So that's a thumbs up. Now, okay, so as you can see, that's the actual real time that it took to connect to my Apple CarPlay. I've actually connected it earlier, and it's pretty simple. I got you through it. And let's just go home, press the home icon over here. Now, another cool thing I noticed is that if you want to decrease the temperature or increase it, that'll also show up here, right there. All right, so very quickly, let's go through the features that this car stereo brings. So first of all, the applications is right in here. It's got several of them. I didn't go through every single one of them and I'm not going to, because it'll make this video fairly long. So let's go back home and let's get out of there. You can also access them if you just swipe to the right from the main screen. Everything's built in here. This is pretty cool. Themes, you can actually change the theme of the radio. So for example, if you want to change it to this one over here, let's pick a colorful one, click OK. It'll take about maybe 7 to 10 seconds for it to come on. Okay, there it is right there. And then if you want to go back, just make sure you go into the click on home. So you can see the applications, the icons change. Make sure you go to that theme app, and it's set right here. So let's go back to where it was. Click OK. Again, it'll take from 7 to 10 seconds. Now, going back to the applications, you have Bluetooth, music. So in case you want to play music from your phone, You could play it, you go right from here, and that's if you're not connected to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, because remember, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, all that does is mirrors your phone onto the radio, and a way to access that is through this Z-Link 5 app. So you can see my phone's already connected on there, and the way you connect your phone is, let's go back home, and I'll show you what it is, and I'll save you the time, because it took me a while. I thought it was actually built in settings, but it's actually built into the applications. So you click on Bluetooth, make sure you go on your phone, turn your Bluetooth on, scan for devices, it'll find this unit, you connect to it. Once it's connected, it'll take about 30 to 40 seconds for the Z-Link app to pair, and that's your Apple CarPlay. As far as Android Auto, I haven't tested that yet, so I'm not really sure how long it is, but let's just go back home again, go back to your applications. And then one pretty cool feature that it has is this fan to keep the CPU cooled. Is actually, it has a built-in settings right here. And you can see that it's running right now. I didn't touch it. It comes like that from the factory. You can set it to start up according to the CPU temperature or whatnot. If you want to change it, that's up to you. Let's go and see what else we find here. This APK Pure app. I think that's if you want to have something to play from. Remember, we have this USB-A female connector that came with our unit, and then you could plug in a flash drive, and if you have like images, music, movies or whatnot, I think you could play it from here. But I'm not entirely sure of exactly what this particular app does. So if you want to check it out and you want to let us know, you know where to write that down. Write in the comments. And if you want to connect that to the Wi-Fi, this all stereo to the Wi-Fi, then you can access YouTube, you can access Google Chrome, Maps, Play Store, and I'm sure you can add a whole bunch of apps on here. Overall, I think this unit is great. I mean, I haven't found any flaws with it. If we want to listen to music, just radio by itself, you click on radio right here, and this is our radio. Everything else works pretty well. Here's the backup camera, and let's take a drive and see what the image quality of this screen is like during daylight. I happen to live in Central Florida where it's real sunny all the time, and it's actually a very sunny day right now. It's probably 6 in the afternoon, but let's take a drive and see what it looks like. Here's the only flaw about this car stereo. I strictly told them this was a 2012 Toyota Prius V, and they asked me to send images of the center console, what you're looking at in the screen right now is what I sent them, and they sent me the unit for it. As you can see, everything works just fine except for the fitment. This doesn't look or appears to be a fitment design for a Prius V. Same thing as in here. As you can see, this right here should be flush with the unit, and it's not. So we're currently in the process of investigating that with Binize, and we'll see what they'll say. All right, so what do I think about this car stereo? Binize, very good job on this one. They did send this out to me, and as always in this channel, I'm not biased towards any company or any product. Once it arrived, I unboxed it. I was pretty amazed on how slim the unit was, and I was actually pretty excited to install, because there's some radios out there that could cause you some issues just because of the size of what it is and how much the harness that you're putting in the back, it tends to bulk up, which in this one it did. But the fact that you have that much room, which that brings up a question, is this true plug and play? I would say yes, it is, as long as you have an idea of exactly what you're doing, because you can't just go and start connecting connectors here and there. You have to know exactly what you're doing. So with the price you paid for, because I think everything revolves about how much is it worth, how much you pay, this is not a very expensive car stereo. In fact, if you ask me, I think it's very affordable. Quite honestly, for everything that it has to offer, I think it's worth the money. There's no flaws with this one, at least just yet. Now, everything has performed exceptionally well. And if I do find something wrong with it, I'll update it in the comments and I will let you know. But overall, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, built-in applications that you could play movies from here. If you connect to the Wi-Fi, you're able to access some of the apps that are on here, and you could download more because you have the Google Play Store. The installation was pretty simple. Had I not been filming, it probably would have taken me maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're not somebody that does this on a day-to-day basis, or this will probably take you about an hour and a half total, no more than that. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Consider giving it a like, consider subscribing, and as always, thanks for educating yourself, making progress, and best to you.